In this lesson, we will learn how to use commonly used widgets. First, let's look at shapes. Start by dragging common shapes onto the canvas. Shapes include box, ellipse, button, heading, label, paragraph, and line. Shapes are transformable. Right-click a shape, select Shape, and you can transform it into a different shape. Even text elements, such as headings, can be transformed into other shapes. Text can be seen as a shape without background fill or borders. Removing the button's border turns it into a label. Next, let's drag an image widget onto the canvas. Double-click it to import an image. In the Style pane, you can adjust the image style. To change the image's aspect ratio, click the Fit to Image icon to restore its original size. Click the Adjust icon to modify the image's colors. Click the Slice icon to divide the image into 4 parts and click the Crop button to crop the image. Drag a guide, then double-click the image to crop it to the guide. We can also change the image using interactions. Drag a button onto the canvas. Add a click interaction to it. And select the Set Image action to import an image from your local folder. Preview the prototype. Clicking the button will switch the image to the imported one. Now, let's drag a hotspot. Hotspots are mainly used to trigger interactions. Place it over a button and add a click interaction to hide the button. Hotspots can also be used as anchors. Drag another hotspot and a paragraph onto the canvas, then add a scroll to widget action and select lower hotspot. Preview the prototype. Clicking the button will scroll the screen to the lower hotspot. Next, drag an inline frame onto the canvas and create a new page with content. Return to the previous page, double-click the inline frame, and link it to the newly added page. Preview the prototype. You'll see the inline frame loading the page, which you can scroll. You can also set it to be non-scrollable. Let's try another widget. Drag a snapshot onto the canvas. Double-click it and link it to a page or component. Choose a page in the pop-up dialog. You'll see that it references that page and you can adjust its size. Right-click it, and if you uncheck Scale to Fit, it will display the content at its original size. Now, let's drag a text field. Its common interaction event is text changed, which you can use to create interactive elements like search boxes. In the max length input box, enter 10. Preview the prototype, and you'll only be able to input up to 10 characters. Let's look at the text area widget, which doesn't have a max length limit. It also has a text changed interaction event, which we can use to create a counter. Next, let's look at the drop list. Double-click it to set options. Click the Add button to add options, or use the Edit Many icon to enter multiple options at once, one per line. Its common interaction event is text changed. We can add a case and condition. Set if selected option of this equals list item 1 and add actions below it. Then set if selected option of this equals list item 2 and selected option of this equals list item 3. Drag in a list box. Unlike the drop list, the list box allows selecting multiple options and displaying multiple options at once. We can also add a selection changed interaction event to control selected items. Drag a button, add a click interaction, and choose Set Selected List option. Choose the checkbox, then select List Item 2. Preview the prototype. When you click the button, you'll see that option 2 is selected. Now, let's look at the checkbox. Clicking it toggles its selected state. You can adjust its box size and orientation in the Style pane. Its common interaction is selected or unselected, often used to control content display. Drag in a paragraph, add a selected or unselected interaction to the checkbox, and toggle the paragraph's visibility. Preview the prototype. When you check the box, the paragraph's visibility is toggled. Drag in 2 radio buttons. Select them, right-click, and choose Assign Button Group. Enter a group name in the dialog to group them. Preview the prototype. Clicking one radio button selects only one at a time, which is its standard usage. You can also adjust the box size and orientation. And its common event is also selected or unselected. Now, let's drag in a tree widget. Right-click it to add a node before or after the current node, or add a child node. Clicking a parent node expands or collapses its child nodes. You can also control node expansion and collapse through interactions. Drag a button, add a click interaction. Select Expand Collapse Tree Node. Choose the second node. And select Collapse. Preview the prototype. Clicking the button collapses the second node. Next, let's look at the classic table. Click on the edge of a rectangle to select a row or column, or drag the edge to resize it. Right-click a cell to add a new row or column. You can also change the cell style using the toolbar. Since table cells don't support merging, you can overlay another rectangle over a cell to simulate merging. This covers the basic usage of table cells. Finally, let's look at the menu. Drag a horizontal menu onto the canvas. Right-click a cell to add a submenu. In Prototype Preview, when you hover over the parent menu, the submenu appears. When you move the mouse away from the parent menu, the submenu hides. Right-click the submenu to add another submenu to it if needed.